Hey there, Scott Hardis with Hardis Property Experts. And one of the questions that I get asked really often is, how's the market? So just after this, I'm gonna have my computer screen on this video, and I'm gonna tell you a lot of the kind of key factors that determine how the market is and the health of it. So stay tuned and I'll show you those data points right now. Welcome back. So what you're looking at now is a statistical analysis that program that I'm able to show you kind of what the health of the market is. And what I did was actually pull data from just the past year, because I feel like that's probably the easiest to absorb just looking at it. So if you take a look at where my cursor is, I'm going to come down here to months supply. This is basically tells you how much inventory is on the market for buyers. And right now, if you look over here, you can see that we're at 3.8 months supply. And that's actually lower than it was last year when we were at 5. And just so you know, when I'm looking at this, the Charlotte region is kind of Metro Charlotte. Entire MLS actually includes other areas outside of Charlotte. But so month supply, when you are under roughly 4 to 5 months supply, that is considered a seller's market. So we are still in a seller's market. Balanced market is more in the 6-month range, and then usually above 7 up to 12 months of inventory would be a buyer's market. So sellers really are able to dictate more what they want to sell for. And I use the caveat that it does matter that you price it to the market, because I've actually had a few appraisals recently on both sides of the transaction where the house did not appraise because it was priced too high. We were trying to stretch the market just a little bit too high. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking of selling. I'm also going to come down here to sales price. This one's actually really interesting. You can see that it's definitely a lot higher than it was percentage-wise, I think, than it was last year. So it's up 7.6% in Charlotte. And I will say the one thing about this statistic is, if there were a couple kind of higher end sales, it will skew this data a little bit. So, if we had 4 or 5 sales that were in the $4 or $5 million range, where that's not typical, compared to the rest of the market, that could help skew these numbers up. But usually it's pretty accurate. So let's see. I also want to show you the percent of original price. Why this is important is it will tell you kind of what's going on with pricing. And you can see that last year, this time, people were getting about 95% of what they were asking for on their actual list price whenever it came time to actually close the property. And now we are closer to 95%. So, 96%. I think these are also interesting. The shows to pending. This is actually how many showings you would typically have on your house before you actually get it under contract. So you can see that is 17 in our market. And then showings per listing. This is showing, basically how many showings you might have on your property, while you have it listed. So, and then lastly, list to close. This is list price compared to what it actually closes at. And it looks like that actually has, this is actually list to close days. These are actually decreasing, which is a good thing. That means, homes are staying on the market lower. And that makes sense given that we are right now in a seller's market. So things are selling a little bit faster than they were even a year ago. So that is pretty much all the statistics I want to show you today. If you have any questions, this is specifically about Charlotte, but if you want to know what it is all the way down to a zip code or your specific neighborhood, I can also tell you, how many homes are, how many months supply of inventory are on the market, what homes are going for relative to what they've been listed at price-wise. So just shoot me an email and I can help you with any of that. It's really easy for me to pull that information and share it with you. So thanks, and I'll see you next month.